You are listening to episode 242 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name is John, and I'm joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games. We've recently picked up games we're currently playing, and we try this again, and again, and again in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
So this week we played Deathloop on for me to PS5. I think, Ryan, you played it on Gamepass, so to Series S, right? Yep. And we are also joined by John Rue of the Retro Room.
Yes. How's it going?
Woo! Give it
Thanks
up
for having me. Appreciate it. You guys have me. As usual, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
good to
always
have you
fun
again.
to come on, man. I think this is like my third time, so maybe second,
it's number
third
three.
time.
It's number 3.
Okay. Yeah,
We'll have to stamp your card before you leave.
Yeah. I need that free pass, whatever that gets me.
Yeah, he and Barry Carenza are fighting to see for ultimate supremacy of the guests on Game Deflators.
I really love Barry. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, I think Barry's been on like 5 or 6 times. I don't know. I've lost count.
Barry's the official, unofficial third member.
Barry's cool, man. He's a really cool dude. He really is.
Yeah. He just had a kid too recently.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or I think his son is being born in July, I want to say. Yeah. I don't remember.
Next time we talk to him, he'll be a father.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's exciting news for him then. But he's a super cool dude. Like,
he definitely is.
If anybody deserves it, it's him. He's cool.
For sure. Well, before we get started on the episode, you can, of course, find the Game Deflators on thegamedeflators.com. You can find us on social media at Game Deflators on Twitter, at The Game Deflators on Instagram and Facebook. Of course, find us on YouTube and those podcast applications that are out there. Check us out on that as well and leave a 5-star review. Rue, if you want to let the folks know where you are at, if they haven't heard you before.
TheRetroRoomGames.com is my website. I think my Twitter handle is TheRetroRoomRue. But yeah, I have like all social media. You can find me kind of with the same logo on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the social media sites. So, but yeah, easily to find me if you just search The Retro Room Games.
Good stuff, as always. So let's dive into our recent pickups and currently playing. Let's toss it over to the guest first. Did you have any pickups this week, gaming-wise?
I don't think I picked anything up, but I am playing an oldie. I'm playing Gothic 2, and this is a game that is probably like, I feel like they're geared towards a certain audience of like psychopath, So it's like the same creators made the Risen series, and they also made a new series called Elix, and it's literally for just crazy people who like buggy games that are really challenging. So
okay,
yeah.
Isn't Gothic getting a remake as well?
I don't know. Is it?
I'm pretty sure it is.
That's news. Yeah, that's news to me. I'm playing Gothic 2, and it's very stiff, and I love it. It's really good.
Gothic PS5. Yeah, Gothic 1 remake on PS5.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That's news to me, man. Yeah, I'm playing Gothic 2, and it's a banger, dude. I mean, if you like that kind of game, like it's one of those where it's like kind of a stiff game, and it's like, I guess, like a Skyrim if it was like developed in 96 or something, And
yeah, it says
trying to outreach and do what they couldn't do then.
No, it'll just be a buggy game, but in next gen graphics.
And according to like most reviewers, they're just like, this is such a horrible game. But I love every game that company comes out with. I don't know why. Like, something about it just checks the right marks for me.
Yeah, so
it's a jank junkie.
Return to the Colony in a full blown remake of the popular and revolutionary game Gothic from 2001. That's what it says.
2001. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's a good game if you really like that. I don't know, that sort of,
like, honestly, man, I shared this with Ryan a while back, actually, this particular game, Gothic 1, and he was like, not my style, but dude, it looks beautiful, actually.
I have to look up the remake, honestly. Like, this is the first time I've heard of it, but
I'll send you a link on Twitter.
it's definitely like a fun game to me, and I really liked all the other games they came out with. Really, like it's up my alley, and I know it's like a small niche audience that enjoys these games, but I really do. They're really fun.
Yeah, it's all about mining and stuff, right?
It kind of reminds me of like I said, it's kind of like a Elder Scrolls kind of game, but like where you kind of have to just talk to people and walk around, and the choices that you make a difference in every bit of the game. And their newer games are really neat. Elix is the newest like iteration of them, and it's kind of like a Gothic on steroids. So
Yeah, this particular one is being remade by THQ Nordic.
cool.
Yeah, but I just sent you a link to the GameStop page.
Perfect. Yeah. I don't have a PS5, so I'll have to get one of those first.
Right.
Is it coming
so
from?
many games I'm waiting on.
Are they remaking it for PC also, or is it just a?
I don't. Well, if it was being remade for PC, it would not be on GameStop.
Gotcha.
Actually, it would be if it was getting like a special edition version. Let's see, Gothic remake PC.
I would love to see that game get a remake. It's
Yeah, it's going to be on Steam.
excellent.
There you go. Yeah.
It's only for a certain audience, so if you're into that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. Let's see. So myself, I picked up some Vallejo inks, which
Cool.
for D&D minis, essentially. I got a whole bunch of paints that I picked up recently. Ryan, you've been getting pictures of all the crap I've been doing on that.
He's getting better and better.
Oh yeah, like it's solid work, dude. I started doing terrains on my minis, which is just a long slippery slope. But today I went ahead and Ryan, you know how you had the figures that have like the translucent pieces, right? So you use the inks, and the inks actually are very, very light, also translucent type of product, and essentially just kind of layers on nice and thinly. So if you want flames, you get flames. If you want like ice, you make ice, and so on.
Cool.
So got those, and then of course
Cool.
I picked up D&D minis as well. So that is the big thing there. And then currently playing, I actually didn't play anything this week. Surprise, surprise. I've been watching The Walking Dead. I've been trying to catch up on that.
Cool.
So
how far are you?
Oh, I'm on season 11. I got like maybe 10 episodes left.
Dude, I just finished it this year, so
Nice.
I'm with you, man.
I heard the new one, Walking Dead, Dead City. It's like a spinoff with Negan and Maggie. It's apparently pretty good.
I want to check it out. Definitely. I watched the what was the other spinoff that they're
Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, and it was okay. It was.
It's
pretty
still
cool.
going on, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. You know?
Yeah. I got to check out that one too. I just remember like a long time ago, I picked it up and I was watching it through, and I stopped on like the middle of season 10 with the Whispers, or no, is it beginning of season 10 with the Whispers? I believe it is, and I just stopped watching for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so
same here actually, and I picked it back up to finish it. Yeah,
nice.
It's cool to finish it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's cool, man.
Yeah, they're at the Commonwealth
Cool.
right now. Like they're at that part, so it's like episode 11 or 12 of the
You're getting
Commonwealth.
there. Yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah, it's almost there. I was reading the comics, or not reading the comics. I was reading about the comics to spoil it for myself and like what happens. And it's crazy, dude. Like, I don't know if you've looked into like the actual story and what's supposed to occur.
I haven't, but I'm sure. Like usually they're more in depth, and
it's total swerve from, the comics to the TV show, of course.
It's hard for me to like talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, when you finish it, maybe we'll have another conversation.
Yeah, for sure. I'll message you.
Yeah, it'd be worth it, definitely.
Ryan, how about yourself?
Man, I didn't do anything this week. I'm getting ready to go on a trip this weekend, so I've been doing other stuff. I'm trying to come up with what game to play on this trip.
Pikmin.
Well, I can't bring my Wii and stuff. That's not going to happen. But I mean,
what did you recommend?
Pikmin.
Oh,
and
Pikmin.
I guess they just did drop Pikmin on the Switch, but I'm not going to buy it on Switch.
That's his new game's resolution, and you were supposed to be playing
Dot Hack. Bro, I still need to get back to Dot Hack. It's such a good game.
You see, Ryan, you got a partner. He's going to fail it too.
I just haven't got back to it.
We got 6 months. We could get through this.
Yeah, right? It's a good point, and I plan to pick it back up. I made it to the second game, so.
That's where I made it to.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a fun one. I don't know why I don't play it. It's just like
Same. Ryan, what else you got?
Well, so I'm trying to decide. I think the best idea for me to do, like, if I'm going to be trapped in the car with nowhere else to go, like, I might as well just pick Tears of the Kingdom up and just keep powering through it. Like, I only got halfway through and basically dropped it. I haven't played it in weeks at this point. So I really, really think that that's the choice. But as I sit here and I stare at my little Game Boy Micro that's so nice and easy to travel with, I'm like, there's so many games that I could just put on there and take with me instead.
Simplicity, man. It's a thing, you know?
Well, there's something about being in the backseat of a car with a Game Boy for hours that's just
Nah.
like, yes, that's the feeling.
Nostalgia right there.
You could play Doom on a.
Do they have a GBA version of Doom?
They
They've
probably
got to.
do, but I was
say
gonna.
they do.
They do.
Gotcha. I was gonna say play it on a pregnancy test, but
I already
Everywhere,
played a bunch
bro.
of Doom last year on the Xbox. Or was that earlier this year? I don't know. I never beat
I don't
it.
know.
Doom's fun.
I played Doom on a podcast episode that you weren't on. I think it was with Christopher Pico,
Okay.
if I recall. The old
I'll
ass
talk
retro
about
gamer.
Doom a little bit later on in this episode, actually.
Okay,
Cool.
sounds good. Well, Rube, do you want to give us maybe an update on what's happening with the retro room?
The next game that we're releasing is a previously canceled Super Nintendo game. I've sort of teased it, so I could probably talk about it. It's called Mr. Tough.
Ooh.
And yeah, this is probably the first time that I've ever actually announced it. So yeah,
Exclusive.
Yeah,
Freaking.
exclusive. Yeah, it's such a big deal. But yeah, it's called Mr. Tough, and it was canceled back in its heyday by Ocean Software. And it's a really good game. It's really polished. The graphics are really good. If you look it up, it's super cool game. And we grabbed the rights to it and finished it up. And yeah, it's a cool one. That's the next one that we're gonna do. I don't know when the exact release date is gonna be. We're kind of finalizing some of the credits. It's just like thank yous that we have to do. But yeah, I'm really excited for that.
That artwork for Mr. Tough, like the slanted rock, looks like Schoolhouse Rock.
Dude, if you try Mr. Tough, you'll enjoy it. It's I don't know why it got canceled. It's such a cool game. Like maybe because at the time, like that kind of game was like super in demand, and there was like a bunch of competition, Mega Man, and all these big name titles, and trying to introduce this new character was tough.
Are you gonna do like? Obviously, you're gonna do a physical release of it, right?
Always, yeah. That's the
And then box, all of that good stuff.
box, full color manual, cart. That's the way we do it. Yeah.
Nice.
So-
I'll be buying that.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate it.
I want to ask, like, so you've got the rights.
Yeah.
At what state does the game come to you in, and like, where do you get that from? Like, does one of the old developers just like send you like a hard drive with everything on it, or they
Ryan,
give
it's
you a
like
Mega
that.
Drive link?
Ryan, it's a floppy disk. Get it right.
Yeah, right. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes we'll get like this like file with a bunch of source code in it, and we just have to kind of figure it out, which is challenging. You know, I'm not like the best programmer, so I work with other programmers, and a lot of the times we get like this batch of source code, and you can't even mess with it on a modern PC. You have to like use some sort of virtual machine, or like in this case, like you have to be on XP or something like that to be able to mess with the code for it and to export it properly. So
What kind of code is it usually?
dude, these are like custom built, most of the time, like custom built engines that they built from the complete ground up, which is insane to me. Like nowadays you have like all these cheats to where you can cut corners and stuff, dude. But back then they were like hacking it out from the ground up. So
I got a buddy that might be interested in volunteering time to you that
please,
does programming.
dude, I need it. I need help, you know? And this is like, it's cool because we get to like rescue a lot of games from the dead. And like Mr. Tough, for example, otherwise would never get a physical release. Like it was never intended to be finished. It was never intended to be released. It's just on the internet, you know, and it's not respected the way I think that it should have been, especially like for this game, because it's literally my favorite game that we've worked on, and it's so polished, and it's such a shame that it just got left behind, But yeah, if you have somebody, I'm open to it.
I just asked him. Right. I just asked him right now.
Yeah, send them, bro. I'm super down to work with other people and collaborate. The idea is kind of noble. It's cool that we can sort of bring these games to light. The developers and stuff got paid through the companies and stuff like this, so they've already been paid for this, but they didn't get to see their baby get released, and get this proper, get the reviews. Nowadays we have YouTubers that play it and, people who review it, and they don't get to experience that. They work so hard on the game, so it's kind of sucks.
You ever get outreach from like those devs, and be like,
yes.
Hey man, really like what you did to finish up this. I remember working on this.
Dude, I worked on a game we called it Elend, but it was a Dune game previously that we ripped all the Dune stuff out of. One of the developers reached out to me out of nowhere. He was like, "Hey dude, I worked on this game. I worked for months on it, and thank you for releasing it, because here we are 20 years later, and I'm finally seeing this game that I worked so hard on get a release. Yeah, I got paid salary by the company. That's cool. But that's not the point. We want to see our game get released. We want to see what people think about it. And it was a really cool game as well, and it just deserved the attention that it got. And he was really happy to see that. And I sent him copies of the game. And so it was really neat. And honestly, we don't need their permission, because it's owned by a company, and this company sells it to another company, and they put it in a basement, and the devs are kind of left behind. So I always send them money or free games or whatever it is that I feel like they want or need, so
that's cool.
Well, before we dive into our articles, we have a fun, quick little discussion topic here. Silent Hill versus Raccoon City. Which one would you rather go to?
Let me set the scene. John sent me an image the other day, and it's, you're going down a road, and there's a fork in the road, darkness in the sky. On the left, you see, a looming city kind of alit with flame, and a sign that says Raccoon City. And to the right, just dark mist that you can't even just barely make out some shadows through, and a sign that says Silent Hill. Which fork do you take?
Easiest answer ever. Raccoon City all day.
Yeah.
I'm going to Raccoon City. Later, Silent Hill. I'll never see you again. Easiest answer to me, because come on, man. Yeah. It's zombies you can outrun, you can outsmart. Silent Hill, who knows what the hell's going on there, dude?
I don't even think you can leave Silent Hill. I think once you're there,
it's
you're stuck.
A mental thing. Dude, you're done.
Yeah.
So that easiest answer ever. I would never if I had a choice, I would never go near that place.
I was looking at the thread that I stole the image from. I don't even remember where the hell I got it from, Ryan. But there was multiple people saying Silent Hill. I'm like, you're fucking crazy.
Are you insane, dude? Do you know it's there? Have you played the games? It's psychological,
Dudes in the forum are like, yeah, but hot nurses.
Dude, no, bro. There's a lot more than just hot nurses there, bro. There's all kinds of hot things.
Yeah. There's Pyramid Head. There's a room that you can't escape, and the walls go to blood.
You, bro. They'll chase you to your demise.
Yeah, nowhere to hide in Silent Hill. I mean, we all saw the movie, right? We know how that ended too.
You can't even hide in your own mind,
For sure. Done. Yeah, easiest one. Easy, for sure.
Dude, Raccoon City's cakewalk, dude. Zombies are dumb. We're watching The Walking Dead,
Yep, exactly. I feel like I could survive a Raccoon City apocalypse. I don't think I could survive Silent Hill.
Oh, I mean, I'd be dead either way, for sure.
Yeah, right? Sometimes mistakes are made in the zombie world. I get it, it happens. But there's no room for mistakes in Silent Hill, dude. You're done.
Mm-hmm. See, the zombies would set up like a Gundam model in the middle of a road, and Ryan would totally go for it.
Dude, I always like that picture where they have all the treadmills set up around the house. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
The zombies can't get in?
You just you set up just treadmills around your entire property, and then the zombies can't get in. They just fall on the treadmill.
Because they're constantly falling on the treadmill.
Dude. It's pretty brilliant,
Actually, that's pretty smart.
Have you guys ever read the Zombie Survival Guide? I remember picking that up in high school and starting to go into rooms and check my exits. What's the best weapon available?
I haven't heard that name since I was in high school, dude. I read it way back then.
Who
I
wrote
think
that
that's
one?
the same guy that did World War Z.
Yeah, it was Max Brooks. Right.
Dude, that's wild that you even brought that up, dude. I haven't heard that name in a while.
That was a sweet book. I wish I remember who I lent that to.
I actually met Max Brooks years ago. He signed my copy of World War Z.
Oh, cool. That's neat.
He looks just like his dad, actually.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. That's Mel Brooks's?
That's Mel Brooks' son, yeah.
Cool.
Wow, never
I didn't know
would
that. Yeah, I didn't put that together. Okay.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Nice. All right, so let's talk into some poor redactions. So the first one here is Sony's deal for Call of Duty only includes one more game, and this was Insider Gaming, and it's Mike Straw who wrote that one. And the other thing here in terms of redactions is Sony's court blunder reveals $200 million is the cost of The Last of Us 2 and Horizon.
Fuck, dude.
That's Polygon. That doesn't include marketing.
God.
That's Polygon, Nicole Carpenter on those. So let's dive into that. So essentially, Activision has a deal with Sony for bringing games on as they would with any other company, and apparently there's only one game left on that deal.
And let's talk about how we know this. So obviously the FTC court battle's been going on all week with Activision Blizzard and trying to block that merger. So all kinds of documents have been coming out. We've been learning different stuff every day all week. And one thing that we were able to find out is all this information that we really shouldn't know, because the Sony execs,
the marker, right?
Yeah, they thought that a Sharpie was going to be enough, and they didn't, realize that, hey, people on the internet know how to use Photoshop, man.
Right.
Like,
whoops,
we've been learning how to get secrets out of stuff for years, and you really should have gone in and done like a text editor or put a sticker over it or something.
Is it surprising that they spent $200 million on a game like that?
No, I think we kind of knew that was the general idea. Like, companies have come out and said they've spent $100 to $150 million on games.
Right.
So seeing
and they're making billions. It's like,
seeing the quality of a game that Sony's releasing, it makes sense. I mean, if you figure Square Enix,
cinematic masterpiece, essentially. It's like, it's more than a movie, like much more than a movie to create. Not only are they doing like the CGI work, but there's just like so much going on there, like if we're talking about The Last of Us specifically.
Yes. Let's see how many. I'll look up how many copies Horizon.
They made billions of dollars, right? It's like has to be like at least $1 billion, which makes the investment worth it. They more than doubled it,
Well, and
so
that's The Last of Us.
They've sold 20 million copies of that game.
That's pretty good.
So I don't know
that's insane, dude.
What is 60 times 20 million?
Yeah. And so that's 212 million, or sorry, like 200 million over like 220 million over 6-year period with 200 full-time employees. So I mean that gives you,
wow. Oblivion had 60, I think. So we're growing here.
So here's the math for you. All right, on an average of $60, right? And obviously they've probably averaged about $60 when you consider collector's editions and all of that. Right. And it's $70 when it came out, but 20 million copies times $60 is $1.2 billion.
See, I mean, it's worth the investment. It's 20. Totally. They like more than 4 times the amount that they put in. It's like, so it makes sense business wise to spend $250 million on a game if you're going to make $1.2 billion. Like, oh my god.
Well, to your point, right? Like the movie industry, which we'll get into a little bit later, they could pop in.
They do it all the time.
Yeah, they could pop in like 90 to 100 something million dollars, and they could fall flat and make 100 million and lose money, right? And I mean, it could obviously happen in the gaming world too. But Sony puts out fantastic quality AAA games all the time. And so it makes sense that, over a 5-6 year period, they're developing these games and bringing in over $1 billion per game.
I think what's more impressive than that would be like Minecraft, a single developer who he obviously made billions of dollars off of Minecraft. It's like, but a company who puts in that much money and gets that much money out is kind of predictable to me. I think that's it kind of becoming a standard, I would say.
Yeah, it's there's a quote right here talking about, how the increase in the industry and the price of games and everything is going up to making it, they call it irresponsibly large, the budgets for these games. And when you look at like this is like a 6-year development or a 5-year development, I mean,
Yeah.
I've definitely
You
heard
look at,
rumors of
look at GTA 6, dude.
Yeah,
It's like
the
15-year
billion-dollar
development.
game.
Like, dude, you're gonna play that game, and there's gonna be people who discover things like decades afterwards because of how massive and enormous. I mean, it's kind of to a fault. It almost like feels like games are getting like almost too big, and that's why a lot of people are reverting to retro games because they're simplistic and they're easier to grasp, and you don't have to put so much time into it to get more out of it, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes, executing a well done thing is way better than, oh yeah, let's put another RPG system in there. Let's get some looter shooter action going in this
Looter
unnecessarily.
shooter,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, there's just too many games where it's like, all right, it's got all of this standard industry bloat that you think needs to be in every game, but really that's just making it more like everything else. It doesn't stand out anymore.
Yeah.
So I decided to also look at God of War. And by the way, this information on the cost of games, apparently, based on this article that I'm looking at, April 26th of 2023, there was a report that it cost $200 million to make God of War Ragnarok, and that sold 11 million copies so far. So
I did not play it though, so I have no idea what it's like. But God of War series they're really fun games.
yeah, I played the PS4 one
I'm
and
sure
definitely enjoyed that one. So I'll be playing Ragnarok at some point when it goes down in price. But
Same.
all that said, I get the idea where they're saying it's irresponsible spending, but when you're putting out banger titles every few years,
It's
it
not
makes
irresponsible if they're making the money like quadruple the money back. It's actually just a good investment, you know?
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, they know their business, they know their clientele and their audience. So, if they know, hey, we can put in 200 million and we can make 1.2 billion.
Put a quarter down and get $1 back, you know? It's like, who wouldn't do it?
Yeah, exactly.
So the other piece of news that we kind of glanced over here that was a part of this leak too is Call of Duty on PlayStation. We do now have confirmation that their deal is going to be up in 2024. So after that contract is over, I mean, if the merger goes through, they've got these 10-year promises from Xbox and saying, hey, we will provide this. This will be a staple game on all platforms moving forward. And they even, threw it out for like to be on the next Nintendo platform as well. So hopefully carrying forward, everybody will have it.
They've done it on Nintendo platforms before, but it's not surprising to me. I mean, Call of Duty is such a well-known franchise that anybody's it's gonna be smart to pick it up. Even if it's their last year with Sony, it's like they'll resign or whoever's smart will pick it back up because it's so goddamn popular.
Well,
some of the numbers they had.
Here's a question for you though. What if Sony says we're not renewing and we're not accepting your proposal?
Somebody else will take it.
Yeah, but what does that do for Microsoft? Because Call of Duty players aren't buying a Switch to play Call of Duty. They're going to play it on PC or they're going to play it on Xbox. But now you lose out on an entire PlayStation base, which from a revenue standpoint, does it honestly make as much sense when you're going to lose out on those console players as well?
Well, no, it's just their current deal. Like they'll renegotiate a new deal.
Yeah.
Have we found out if are they losing money? Is that why this is happening? Like, are they losing money and they're choosing to back out because of that, or is it the same?
No, it's just they have like forever Sony was getting like first pick at the map packs come out first on here, or you get like some kind of like exclusive window or something, like maybe Call of Duty came out like 5 days earlier on PlayStation or something stupid, or 6 months early. I don't think it's 6 months early for Call of Duty. That's usually other titles. But I mean, with the amount here that they had in the notes, Call of Duty has somewhere between 7 to 10 million active users, and also a claim that 1 million users spent 100% of their gaming time on Call of Duty in 2021.
See, I mean, they have there's like a standard that's set here, and like whoever takes that contract is going to make so much money. Like, it's interesting that even if Sony's contract expires, whoever picks it up is going to be a smart person, a smart company.
Yeah,
I feel there's so much to be made there, and it's funny because I've played like 2 hours of Call of Duty in my entire life. Like I'm not a huge Call of Duty guy, but everybody knows the game. Even people who don't normally game often know Call of Duty. Like my mom might know Call of Duty. She's heard of that. concept. It's like Mario, but the modern
Secretly,
day.
she plays Call of Duty, and you didn't
Yeah,
know.
right.
My
But,
favorite YouTuber, Noah Caldwell Gervais, he has a good video where he talks about all of the story modes of Call of Duty, like in a retrospective, going through them all. And the thing that he really nails down about why people like Call of Duty is that it doesn't matter who you are or what you do. If you want to get off work and blow off steam, you can spend 30 minutes running around stabbing dudes with a knife and have a
yeah,
good ass time, and have that same good ass time every day. And like, doesn't matter how, you know, eh, what barriers are around you. That's such an easy, just get in, have your fun, and get out. You don't have to commit 30 hours of your life to some elaborate story or really learning a new game all the time, because the same
yeah,
game's going to come out next
yeah.
year. You'll be able to do the same thing again.
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Again, that's why I feel like retro gaming is becoming more popular. Is because as people get more busy, as we turn into adults, we have more responsibilities and don't have time to tap into a game for 40, 50, 60 hours. I have to do these short spurts. So a game like that is ideal.
And once you hit after 30, those short spurts are 5 minutes before you fall asleep on the couch.
I'm saying, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the truth.
Yep. So let's go into our next piece here, which is the Microsoft and Activision chiefs testify that the merger will benefit consumers. And that's Kellen Browning at New York Times. So basically, both CEOs of Activision and Microsoft came through and said, hey, this is great for consumers, right? I personally don't think so.
No.
Well,
No.
I mean, there was a lot of, argument in the court this week, and a lot of information coming out. And obviously that's the case that Microsoft wants to make, because they're trying to say, hey, this is going to be best for everyone. And the really interesting thing, Satya Nadella, I hope I'm saying that right, chief executive at Microsoft, he came out yesterday and testified if it was up to him, there would be no console exclusive games. They think that the market would be better where everybody could participate, everybody could have access to these titles, and accuse, hey, this Sony's the one setting these standards, and they're the ones, making us play this game. In reality, It's been a long time thing. It goes beyond Sony. Before Sony was even in the marketplace,
Sega versus Nintendo.
Yeah. Nintendo, everything that is on that console for the most
does
part is
what
exclusive.
Nintendo don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I call BS on that. And I mean, really, the long-term thing here is their idea is let's get it on Game Pass. Let's shift users over to the Xbox versus PlayStation. This is all about taking out Sony. Like there's no, the consumers are going to benefit. This is all about ripping out choice from consumers.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Yeah, however they want to. They could spin it however they want. This is all about destroying.
It's always business. It's always just them trying to outdo their competition. So
yeah, the funniest thing I've caught from all of this though is that the legislators have consistently said that Nintendo is not a competitor for Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah,
because from a hardware perspective, Nintendo is not anywhere close to both of those, and they're kind of on their own island.
But what about sales? Doesn't Nintendo
sales is huge, but they were focusing more on like, oh, it's a portable console. It doesn't have as many teraflops or whatever, like whatever they want to excuse. And they actually took a chart that showed, here's the pie, here's like the Nintendo share, the Sony share, and then the Xbox share, showing Xbox in third place. If you take Nintendo out of that pie, I mean, it's a Pac-Man eating the Microsoft with the share that Sony has. And in all the information that's come out over this, like I've been so torn because like, I have an Xbox, so it's really only going to benefit me. Like I'm going to get a PlayStation eventually. So, I mean, either way, it doesn't really matter. But I see all of the things here. And when you try to make you choose a side with an article, I keep reliably going back and being like, man, I feel like Xbox kind of is going to get this. And, from the way things look and the way things are, they really are in third place. But then I have to kind of step back and realize that, I'm not a corporate shill, and Microsoft is only going to do bad things in the long run, no matter what, because they're a corporation, and that's what corporations do. And when corporations lose, we win. So
and none of them are standing on just except for maybe Nintendo, just the video game industry alone. Sony and Microsoft are both
huge,
making billions of dollars off of TVs and operating systems and all these different products. I think
Xbox is a drop in the bucket for Microsoft.
In fact, so looking at the fiscal year of 2021, because I couldn't find anything for 2022, Sony in that year reported $24.8 billion in revenue and an operating income of $2.6 billion. Microsoft had a revenue of $16.2 billion, and they did not report profit from that segment. However, that's just not reported, which means they probably lose money. And then Nintendo actually generated $15.3 billion, so less than both of those, both Sony and Microsoft, but they generated a higher profit at $5.4 billion, so really double what Sony reported.
That shit's insane, dude. That's so much money. It's crazy how much money the gaming industry is making these days, man.
Yeah, that's just gaming, obviously.
Gaming used to be like a corner thing, and now it's this huge mainstream thing that everybody's interested in. It's almost the same as the film or music industry.
Well, in the next article we have, actually they say specifically that it's so big now that it is greater than the film and music industry combined,
dude.
So
bro, it used to be like a nerd thing. Now it's like fucking normal.
GTA 5's the most selling piece of media humankind has ever made.
Wow.
That's better than Tetris. So our next article, segueing into that, is gaming is Hollywood's next IP frontier, and that's Martin Berg at Variety. Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, I wrote a whole thing on this.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, I'm not reading that. Ryan can read that.
I think that we've all grown up in the age of trying to convert video games into movie and, just print money off of it. And it really hasn't worked for a long time. It's only in the more recent history that we've really seen that kind of success come out. I mean, probably the biggest early success would be those Resident Evil movies, just because they made so many of them.
Yeah.
But I think that that's probably a really successful version of that, because zombie movies are already wildly popular and easy to make, and you can just adapt and do what you need to do. But they did kind of the right thing, and I'll kind of cite it here, where they took that world and they made a movie version of it. Or like with the Mario movie, they took Mario. Everybody knows Mario. He's a great character. He's got lots of stuff that you can mine for IP, but they didn't remake Mario the game into a movie and you just watch Mario platform through all the levels. Right. And whenever movies and books are compared, and they adapt those, it's always, the book was better because the book has all those smaller moments in it. It's got all the little moments to tie everything together, and has that detail. And video games are really about those small moments that are the gameplay and carry you through to those story beats. And I think Doom is a really good example of how to do a movie bad, where,
it's awful. Yeah.
I mean,
and Uncharted.
Doom has some interesting lore,
Uncharted.
Objectively,
it wasn't good.
Demons and stuff. Oh,
it was a good popcorn movie. But I mean, in terms of sticking to,
I didn't see it. Yeah.
In terms of sticking, so yeah, if you went into Uncharted not knowing what the hell Uncharted, like my wife had not played Uncharted, so she went into that movie and was like, "Oh man, this is actually really cool. It's a lot of fun to watch. Like, I'm going to get into Uncharted now." So she got into Uncharted and started playing them because of the movie.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
And that's part of one of the big things.
The other way around didn't work so well, though.
The Last of Us is another prime example.
I didn't watch this series. Yeah. So I heard it was cool.
It was awesome, actually. So she saw that and was like, "Wow, this is super cool. I want to play Last of Us." So,
it's kind of nice that they're actually making good film based upon video games that used to always 10 times out of 10 suck, but it's kind of nice that they're making things that people are enjoying finally.
Well,
The Super Mario Bros. Movie is a perfect example, you know.
Yeah, choosing the right.
I didn't watch it, so I haven't seen it myself.
I didn't like it.
A lot of people.
I liked it, and I think that
it seemed to get favorable reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you like it?
Oh man, you'll have to listen to
John
whatever
has problems.
episode.
That's why he didn't.
I
like
have problems. Yeah. No, for me it was
in a sentence, like what would it be?
Every type of possible nostalgia type of scene that you could throw into Mario.
They're baiting you
into one movie. So like
it's bait.
Yeah, you had like a blue shell. You had every type of potential nostalgia that is tied to Mario was just like vomit on a screen. That's all it was. It was like a nostalgia fest.
I knew it was going to be that way. Fast paced and bait.
The pacing was fucking terrible, dude. Like
super fast, or
it was.
Every scene just clips along.
I knew it was going to be like that. Super fast paced bait, nostalgia bait. You know,
that's. I mean, you might enjoy it, right? Like I know a number of people that have watched it and said it was a great movie, and
I liked it a lot.
I personally, I mean, looking at it from a like a lot of people said, "Oh, well, it's a kids movie. It's not going to be that good." I've seen lots of kids movies that are actually pretty good.
Great.
I mean, you look at a lot of the Pixar movies and Disney films that have been released over the last few years, and they're fantastic. So
really good. Yeah, Big Hero 6.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah. Moana would be another good one that I've always enjoyed. Like you take those films and you say, "Oh, it's a kids movie." Okay, well, compare it to these films that have come out. Story. Yeah, these films were fantastic. So your argument of it's a kids movie is just terrible.
Invalid, right?
Yeah.
Still a good story, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Good story is a good story. It's like...
Well, and there's so many good video game stories that you could turn into a movie or film, and sometimes, or movie or show. And sometimes it's about choosing one or the other. Like, not everything has to be a movie. Like, The Last of Us would have been a terrible movie because they would have made 3 movies out of it.
Yeah.
And you would be waiting 10 years. But, like, doing a good series.
I still need to see it, honestly. Like, I heard it was well worth the watch, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It follows the source pretty good. And the source was good, you know?
Yeah.
And the audience is there now. Like, now that video games are so prolific, it's not like back in the day, like, you know, when they tried to do the World of Warcraft movie, like, I'm sure that they got a lot of World of Warcraft players to go. And that's probably one of the biggest fan bases that you could get to pull out and go. But, like, how many people, you know, really would go see a video game movie unless that specific video game was one that you had played? And now people play so many, and so many people.
It's the most popular form of media, you know?
Yeah.
Like you were saying, it's like it has taken over the film and music industry. So
the install size is there.
It makes sense, you know? It makes sense to do that now, you know?
Yep.
They just got to be choosy. They got to use the right...
And, you know, they're not going to.
Yeah.
They're just going to do whatever they can to make a buck, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the Sonic movies, too.
I did
I liked
too.
them. Right. They were good, you know? So
and so Ryan actually asked me, he's like, did you like the Sonic movies? When he asked me about the Mario, I'm like, yeah, the Sonic movies actually had
fun.
Good pacing. They were fun movies.
Yeah.
Good popcorn flick for sure. I mean, obviously it's not going to stick to. I mean, you got a spinny character going off.
It's kind of cool to watch with your kid or whatever, you know, like
yeah.
And again, taking a good character but putting him in a situation that makes sense for a movie. Like, you're not trying to one-to-one like you would a book and retell the exact
I gotta see
story.
the Mario movie now because I'm curious. You know, I feel like I expected it to be that way. You know, because it's so easy to just make $1 million, billion, cajillion dollars off of the Mario franchise just by feeding you exactly what you know. Let's throw a scene from Mario Kart in there.
I mean, you're talking
it's gorgeous.
about.
It's worth watching just for the visual spectacle.
Yeah,
you're talking about the company that made Minions and Despicable Me and all of that, right? So like when you look at those films and the quality of those films, like in comparison to other films that have come out, it's night and day, right?
Yeah.
So I knew from the get-go that we were not going to get, you know, a stellar movie with a fantastic story. I mean, it is what it is. It's a fun kids movie, but if you're going in as an adult thinking, oh man, I'm going to go in and like absolutely love the story and it's Mario, and no, I mean, you got to take it from a different lens. And, you know, I went in knowing that it probably wasn't going to be the best movie. And for me,
I know it was going to be bait. Like,
I
haven't even seen it and I just already know. I mean, that they're trying to feed off your nostalgia. So,
Absolutely. All right, so let's dive into the inflation deflation segment of this week. We played Deathloop, which is developed by Arcane Lion. It was published by Bethesda, directed by Dinga Bakaba and Sebastian Mitten. It was released in September of 2021. It's a first-person shooter with a reception between an 8 to a 10 out of 10. Synopsis on this is Deathloop in Deathloop, the player takes the role of Colt, an assassin stuck in a time loop, who has been tasked to take out 8 targets called Visionaries across the island of Blackreef before midnight. As leaving even one alive will cause the time loop to reset and undo his work.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of a
So-
cool premise.
Yeah, I had never really had an interest in this game. I mean, I saw all the reviews and stuff when it came out, and people said like it was pretty mid. So I was kind of shocked when I saw that it had like 10 out of 10s. I completely forgot that it was like totally in the running for game of the year and everything. But it was not that great for me.
Really?
It had one of these big problems that we were kind of talking about earlier. Like, I hate when you start a game and it's just like every time you click on something, like a dialogue box comes up and gives you like a list of like tutorial things, and then you go over here and here's another dialogue box with a list of tutorial things. Like, I spent the first 25 minutes just like in one area just reading stuff that I don't care about because I'm only going to play this game for an hour for the podcast, and I just couldn't even get through most of it.
Here we go again with the there's too much content in these games. That's why retro games are like super fun to play, because you just kind of jump in, you can jump out, you can jump back in. These kind of games you have to literally like get into the lore, and you kind of have to.
It's an onboarding process
for sure. Yeah.
So I agree with you on like the tutorial aspect, right? Like it sets you up nicely from a tutorial standpoint on like the controls and what to do. Like that was totally fine. But then they throw you into like, here's this like mechanical thing to unlock, doors, right? And you're like, okay, cool. Like that's fine. But then they bring in like that chip, right? And there's like a chip that does whatever. And they expect you to know the lore on that. And then they reset you, right? Because you die.
Too much.
So, and like, that's all good. But like, I don't know how far you got, Ryan. I got, I don't know, pretty decently far.
I played for a couple hours actually because I had some spare time. So more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I got pretty far, and in like the 45 minutes to an hour that I played today. And for me, it was like that menu, by the way, is horrendous. The overall menu on like trying to navigate. You can't
like go in and change your gear and stuff until you like leave the level. Like it's kind of level segmented, this whole island. So it's like you go into an area with your loadout and you can pick up different weapons and stuff in there. But if you have like chips on your gun, they don't like leave with you when you leave with a new gun. You would have had to take the old gun out, go into the menu, remove it, and then get a new gun, and then go back and then put it in.
Only in certain scenarios will that work, maybe like Hitman, that kind of thing where you can have this certain segmentation. But
yeah,
no,
it felt really bizarre.
The story definitely intrigued me. Like I actually was a fan of like the overall story, but like the game itself was not that great to me. Like there was a lot of comedy too that was tied in that I thought was fantastic.
The characters were fun. The voice acting was good. People I would like to play a game of.
This game to me suffers from the classic Bethesda issue, right?
Bethesda.
Like I know that they just published it, but like I think Arcane works underneath Bethesda, right? Like this
would be another game that suffers in the same way that Bethesda worked on, like maybe Rage.
I haven't played
Rage.
Rage,
it doesn't have Fallout jank. What are you getting at, John?
Oh no, it has some Fallout jank for sure. Absolutely has Fallout jank. I cannot tell you how lazy the AI was in what I was playing.
Yeah. I just ran up and macheted half the people.
The AI is completely lazy. I had the AI spinning in circles. I had one guy that I threw a bottle and the AI got stuck and was shaking in place and couldn't go anywhere. And I had to
the Bethesda bugs.
Yeah, it's loaded. And just like the 45 minutes to an hour that I played, it was loaded with bugs. And I mean, this game has been out for almost 2 years. Yeah, and it still has crazy bugs like that. So and for me, like the frame rate and how it was clipping for me. I don't know if you had the experience, but I mean, I was playing on a PS5 version
Ouch.
4K TV,
Brand new,
OLED,
like
a brand new TV actually,
everything
OLED,
is
120 hertz
updated.
refresh rate. Yeah, everything updated. Best HDMI I could have in there. So like, I was playing it the way that you're supposed to play it, and it was
Ouch.
jank. I was not enjoying my time playing that game at all. So I don't know why it has an 8 out of 10. I would assume money is what kind of talked here and got those reviews. But I
Probably.
think the general reviewer,
Connections.
Ryan, do you have the Metacritic open? I'm just kind of curious.
Let me see.
It's unfortunate we can't rely on the reviews like that. The
Well, and you
critic
can't
reviews.
even
you know?
can't even rely on user reviews now because there's so much damn review bombing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
So
on
here-
PS5, it's got an 88 Metacritic with a user score of a 6.5.
Yeah.
I'd say that's about right.
Yep.
Also, different strokes, different folks. You know, it's like me enjoying Gothic. Gothic's not a
Mhm.
game most people enjoy. You know, so
Well, and so
Yeah.
get this, on the PC, it has a 5.6 for user score, and then the Xbox is a 7.2.
it's a pretty
Yeah.
high score.
So maybe
Yeah.
the Xbox version was just the best, and that's why I didn't like see as much of the bugs or anything. Like, there were certain things about the game that like I did find to be like fun enough, but not compelling enough to actually get me to play through. Like, I feel like I really lost touch with like a lot of FPS games. Like, I used to be, that's my genre, but nowadays, like, I tried playing Borderlands 3 with some friends, and I just didn't really give a damn. I
Same.
think Prey was the last like really fun first person shooter game, but that's because it has like so many other systems that are in there, and the world is like wildly interesting. Not that like a time loop game isn't really interesting, but like the combat was not nearly enough to want to carry my attention through, and the just kind of being taken out. Like, the whole setup for this world is that it's in a time loop. You got to kill all these dudes in one day and kind of have just like the perfect run. And there's
Right.
different areas of the island that you
Which
have
is kind
to
of
go
cool.
to.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool concept. Yeah.
But if you go to
Promising.
an area and leave, it advances time. So
Hmm.
basically, you need to learn where everything is by playing the game enough so that you only have to probably go to each area once
So they
to
want you
get
to
through everything.
repeat it. They want
Yeah.
you. There's no first time run here.
Yeah, because unless you do everything, then, as soon as you go to the next area, like, you can't go back. Otherwise, you'll advance the clock again, and you'll just never have enough day to get everything done in.
Got
And
you.
The AI
That's a
is like,
flaw, I think. Yeah.
the AI is just going to always be in the same place every time. I mean, that's most games. Like, when you start a game of Mario, you always expect the Goombas to be in the same place. But like in a first person shooter,
But you can progress in Mario. It's like you don't have to go back. You don't have to like learn from your mistake like that often, I think.
well, and do you really want to like sneak attack the same guy 40 times standing in the exact same position? Like,
Right? To get it perfect.
yeah. Yeah. And it has weird stuff too. So it's like, it's a time loop game. So if you die, you respawn, but then you get a thing that's like, okay, well, actually you can die twice. And then the third time you die, the loop starts. It's like,
You die for real.
yeah, you're making your own rules, and then
Yeah.
you're breaking those rules right away.
I mean,
Yeah.
the concept is cool, but I mean, I guess execution wise, they didn't.
It must have
nail
been
it.
too annoying if you died every time and had to start over, so they had to build a buffer into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you could easily just kind of have that to where when you get to a certain point, right? Then, you died and you loop back from there. Like some sort of mechanic that like kind of like a they had a memory
checkpoint?
glyph.
Like a checkpoint, John?
Yeah, a checkpoint, but like it built in the game, it would have to be like a memory glyph or something along those lines.
Yeah.
right?
Called
Like,
the story, right?
yeah,
But
something
here's
that
the
kind of
thing:
works with the story.
was it worth playing the 45 minutes to an hour that you played it? Was it a game that was fun enough to not recommend? But do you feel like you wasted your time?
That's a
Absolutely.
good question, and we
You
have
did.
we have
Okay.
a
I felt I
system for
did.
that.
I felt that I could have had that 45
More
minutes, an
fun.
hour back to play something else that was better.
Doing anything else, like
Yeah.
watching the Super Mario Bros. Movie again.
Yeah, no, I'd rather play Deathloop.
Just kidding, man. But yeah. Something else, something better.
Yeah. So brass tacks on this, a complete in box copy right now will run you $15.50. That peaked at $47.50 in September of 2021.
$15? That's
Yeah, $15.50
not
right
bad.
now. Free on Game Pass. It is holding right now at that price. A loose copy runs you $7 right now. That peaked at $43.98 in September 21 as well. That was upon release, and that is trending down actually. So it's getting even cheaper for a
quickly,
for a current gen game, right? Digital console $59.99, and then on Steam it's currently 75% off, and will likely stay 75% off. And that's
they're trying to get that money. Yeah, they're like, bro, come on, give us some while we got it.
I guess I should have said too. So those prices are for the PS5 version.
Yeah, well, I said Game Pass is free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then digital is $59.99, and then Steam is your PC price at $14.99 currently. And I would assume maybe that's Steam Summer Sale. I don't know if that started yet, but
yeah, because it's listed at full price, but it's got a 75% off on Steam right now. So that's the advertised best deal you're going to see.
So if you want to waste $15, go on Steam.
Yeah,
well, that's a bummer. You know, it is what it is, but some games aren't worth playing. You know.
The thing is, like, in my opinion, like, I don't really think it's a bad game. And I definitely think, like, with the scores that are out there, like, you know, it's something that people liked. You know,
they'll probably make enough money to make a sequel, and the sequel might fix everything that the first game had problems with. You know,
so
because it sounds like a cool concept. You know,
yeah, I think for less than $10, like, you could do way worse. And with the loose price being at $7.09 here, I mean, it'll get down probably to like $5 for a loose copy. And like, yeah, I would, if I was even remotely interested in this, I think $5 would be enough that you could spend, check it out, and see if it's really going to do it for you. And it wouldn't be like an offensive pickup, or like John would pick this up in a bundle 5 years from now and turn around and sell it to somebody who's going to be probably pretty happy with the purchase at that point.
But when we look at today's numbers, it is inflated.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't pay $15 for it, and I wouldn't buy a loose copy of a game. So I guess inflated is really the only route we have to go.
I paid $10 technically, so
and not worth it.
Not worth it. No, you should return it to GameStop.
I mean, as soon as I started up the game, I was like, I'm not even remotely interested in finishing this game.
I was interested. That's the thing. When it first started up, I'm like, oh man, this is pretty cool. And then the jank started kicking in. I'm like, man, screw this game.
Yeah, I hate when that happens, man.
Yeah. So before we jump off, Ryan, I think we should play Returnal, since we're on this time loop binge right now. And
it's only on PS5.
And I have a PS5, and you can come to my house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you guys? What state are you guys in?
We're in Arizona.
Arizona, cool.
Yeah.
I'm in Texas. So.
Yeah. Next time I go out to Texas, I'll have to hit you up. You're in the Fort Worth area, right? Or no?
I'm in Houston.
Oh, you're south. Yeah. Oh, Houston. Oh man, the traffic out there, dude.
The construction. It's such a sweaty butthole here, bro. Yeah,
dude. Houston is.
I live in a specific construction is the thing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's
see, he knows.
It's awful.
Yeah, it is definitely awful. I had to drive a U-Haul through Houston when I was moving out to Arizona, and it was the worst thing in my life.
It's a rough city, man. There's not a whole lot of gaming here either, which kind of sucks. There's only one really big AAA company, which is 6 foot.
Yeah. So before we jump off, my buddy said that he is interested, by the way, in that code and stuff. So after we
send it my way,
after we jump off,
let's chat. Yeah, absolutely.
But next week, Ryan, I think we should maybe play some Returnal. We'll see how that goes.
Returnal.
Yep. Have you over here? Well, this has been episode 242 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name is John.
I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
No, you're not.
Thanks for having me, guys. For real, anytime you guys want to do this again, I always appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on again. We'll definitely hit you up.
It's always a pleasure, definitely. Yeah.
John's gonna make sure you played some more .hack though.
Dude, hold me accountable, please, because I really need to get back. So do you, honestly. Gotta get back into it, man.
Oh, I hold them accountable on a weekly basis. I'll just start pinging you on Twitter and be like,
.hack, bro. I'll actually play it, dude. If I'm reminded, I'll bust it out and I'll play it. It's just one of those, because there's so many good games. It's dude.
Maybe when I start playing it, I'll be like, hey, John, you gotta play it.
I'm a backlogger, dude. I have such a backlog that I always want to go back to, and .hack's on it, and dude, I'm telling you, I'll pick it back up if you remind me. I will.
I was telling Ryan, it's on my backlog too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a whole discussion on .hack last week, as a matter of fact.
Dude, I'll pick it back up for sure. Like, if you remind me, like, I'll pick it back up, dude.
All right,
we can do it together.
I'm gonna tweet you right now and be like, .hack.
Yeah, mutation, bro. That's where I'm at. So
Mutation. All right,
yeah.
all right. Look, here we go.
And I was kind of like
.hack.
getting into mutation a little bit. I think I got to a hard part, and I was like, I'll come back to this, you know?
Yeah. For me, it's because my PS3 died back then, and I had the backwards compatible.
You lost.
I actually have it, but I got to transfer it onto. I have the adapter now to be able to transfer stuff from the PS3 onto the PS2 memory
I remember
card.
talking about this. Yeah. Because we thought you lost it at one point. Like,
yeah, I just have to change it over. All right. Well, this has been episode 242.
You already did that part.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.